Good evening and welcome to the evening news for today, Tuesday, January 23, 2024. I am Jemima Holmes. Thank you for tuning in. Now let's take a look at some of the lead stories tonight. BENN, RAMJATTAN, SPAR on gun amnesty, corruption, security matters. PPPC government resuscitated bankrupt forestry sector, says Minister BHARRAT. Gone are the days where Indigenous peoples were left behind, says MP PEARSON. After more than 2 years on the run, LINDEN man charged for killing girlfriend. And fourth victim in RUIMVELDT smash-up dies. Now for the news in detail. Day 2 of the 2024 budget debates got underway today with a fiery exchange between Home Affairs Minister BENN and his shadow counterpart in the opposition cabinet, RAMJATTAN, who had also served as Public Security Minister under the previous administration. The two politicians clashed on a number of topics, ranging from the need for a gun amnesty program to corruption and to other security matters. Trishelle Sobers has this story.
Opposition parliamentarian and former Minister of Public Security RAMJATTAN opened Day 2 of the 2024 budget debate by arguing that a consensus between government and the opposition is needed to address various issues, such as organizing firearm amnesty campaigns rather than advising citizens to toss their guns into police stations in black bags. RAMJATTAN noted that the $90.6 billion allocated in the 2024 national budget for the security sector, more specifically the $30.3 billion set aside for the Guyana Police Force, is sufficient and can accommodate such a program. In this regard, he implored that the People's Progressive Party civic government keep in mind that a firearm amnesty campaign coincides with their goal to reduce crime. On this note, RAMJATTAN reminded that the APNU-AFC gun amnesty strategy netted approximately 186 weapons off the streets during their term in office. In response, Home Affairs Minister BENN reiterated that the PPPC administration is not interested in paying citizens to hand over illegal firearms. Instead, he said fines will be increased. Referencing the murder of Shawnette Dover, who was shot and buried in a shallow grave back in 2021, BENN explained that the firearm used for the gruesome act is yet to be located, and in cases like the one aforementioned, a firearm amnesty campaign can hinder criminal investigations.
It would appear that my colleague, Mr. BENN, have been coming up with some otherwise outrageous policy statements, one of which is, all you out there that got illegal guns, take them and throw them at the police station and bring them in. There's lots to be done in the public security sector. And I am willing here and would love to have a consensus and also a collaboration with the Honorable Minister to ensure that our security, the country's security, is provided for. Thank you very much.
If you have an illegal firearm, we will fine you. We'll increase fines in relation to that. We believe if you have a firearm, turn it in. Don't set us up for us to pay for you to get money in relation to handing in a firearm, and then we don't know necessarily the lineage, what it was done with it.
Meanwhile, RAMJATTAN also issued a call for government to terminate contracts from construction companies that fail to complete projects during the specified deadline outlined in various agreements. Further, the opposition parliamentarian alleged that many construction companies are not paying taxes. RAMJATTAN explained that if this continues, the 2024 budget, which is Guyana's largest fiscal package to the tune of $1.146 trillion, will result in a, quote, resource curse, end quote. However, BENN rejected the allegations made by RAMJATTAN. Trishelle Sobers, Evening News.
Prudent management of the forestry sector has seen a turnaround from the bankrupt state it was when the People's Progressive Party Civic took office some 3 years ago. Find out more in this Rupasina report.
Minister of Natural Resources Vikram Bharat reminded that in 2020, the Guyana Forestry Commission was bankrupt when the PPP government took over from the APNU-AFC coalition. Fast forward to strategic interventions made by the current administration, Bharat told the National Assembly on Tuesday that the sector has seen a major turnaround. He also addressed the declining forestry exports, noting that it is due to the rapid development locally where the needs have multiplied.
In less than 3 years, we have turned the sector around. We have turned that sector around. But Ms. Fernandez, the honorable member, came and said that exports has declined from 2019 to 2023. But yes, Mr. Speaker, export has declined. Export has declined. But is it that that is the main objective of the forestry sector? Should we keep exporting our logs? Should we keep exporting our logs? No. No is the answer. The local demand has grown so much. The local demand has grown so much that the Guyana Forestry Commission is supplying the local demand. Should we neglect the local demand and export because we want to come here and report that our export figures is glorious? Should we do that? By doing that, we are suffering our own people, because when they go to a sawmill or a lumber yard, it's either it's not available or the price is so high that they can't pay for it.
Meanwhile, he also dismissed claims by opposition member of parliament Dionarine Ramsarup that they inherited a bankrupt sector in 2015. The minister cautioned that the country should not be misled.
In September of 2015, this document says that the Guyana Forestry Commission must transfer $100 million from the accounts of the Guyana Forestry Commission to the Ministry of Finance. And yet, the honorable member came to the commission and said that in 2015, the commission was bankrupt. Mr. Speaker, what the honorable member did not do is to read that report properly. He read one account. There are 7 accounts. We should not come to the National Assembly and mislead the House and the people of this country. Mr. Speaker, we took over, and even if for argument's sake, you took over bankrupt Forestry Commission, which is not true. In 2015, what did you do? Because in 2020, it was still bankrupt. So it means that you simply did nothing in 5 years.
Rupa Sinarine, The Evening News.
While addressing the events of the tragic Madhya dormitory fire today during the 2024 budget debates, Home Affairs Minister BENN made it clear that the Guyana Fire Service did not have the responsibility to put fire prevention measures in place on the building. Here is Rupa Sinarine again with the details.
Home Affairs Minister BENN addressed the National Assembly in Day 2 of the budget debates on Tuesday, where he drew attention to the fact that the Guyana Fire Service is only responsible for the inspection of buildings.
The Guyana Fire Service, under the protocols established, haven't given the reports in respect of doing improvements in relation to fire safety, does not have the responsibility or did not have the responsibility to do those things themselves. It is incumbent on the house owner, of the building, of whoever is the agency which owns the building to put those things in place for follow-up inspections by the Guyana Fire Service.
Recently, the Commission of Inquiry into the Madhya dormitory fire recommended that an inspectorate be set up to visit the dormitories which have been or are being retrofitted in order to determine the extent in which they are in compliance with the recommended gender-sensitive standards for dormitories. This should also apply to dormitories for intended construction. Meanwhile, Minister BENN agreed with the Commission's position that despite being notified late, firefighters still managed to save a number of lives during the May 21st blaze.
It is true that there were inadequacies in relation to, one, a fire call which was a delayed fire call. The building was well alight by the time the fire service got there. And also, there was the question of them being able to break into the building even when they arrived. And there was questions of how best to treat with the children when they did rescue children from the building. And I want to say, in spite of all of that happened, the Guyana Fire Service personnel rescued persons from the building, children.
The ministry, through the Ghana Fire Service, has equipped dorms and school buildings in the interior with smoke alarms, extinguishers, fireballs, sand buckets, and other measures to mitigate fires. Going forward, the Commission of Inquiry report indicated that grills should be placed with a modern security system, inclusive of secured fencing and cameras, to ensure a protected environment and assist in monitoring the entry and exit of all persons using the facilities. Rupa Sinarain, The Evening News.
Government parliamentarian Yvonne Pearson, a Tushao herself, rose today in the chambers of the National Assembly to contribute to the ongoing 2024 budget debates, and she spoke of the numerous benefits and opportunities being opened up to Indigenous peoples, from being able to move to large-scale farming to having youths from far-flung communities trained in a variety of new skills. Pearson contended that the lives of Amerindian peoples are considerably better today. Here's a look.
Gone are the days, Mr. Vincent Henry, Honorable Member, when Indigenous peoples were left behind. So don't come and cry here, sir. I would encourage you, go out there and talk to your villagers, talk to your leaders, get on board, think straight, and stop sharing messages that are not true. As I speak here now, land has been drainage and irrigation in the Pomeroon area, which would allow the people of St. Monica, Kabakamori, Siriki to extend in the field of agriculture, addressing the issue of flooding. In the coastal area, Mr. Speaker, as I speak now, 80 acres of land has already been cleared and cultivated in the village area. We are already discussing with Topco, the juice company, to supply them thousands of pounds of passion fruit. Tell me, Mr. Speaker, if that is not development, and this is not building now, the foundation was set already. We are building on that foundation. Never before our Amerindian villages have moved from subsistence farming. Now we are in commercial agriculture. Thanks to the People's Progressive Party Civic. Cage fishing is now established in our villages. We are part of it. And Mr. Speaker, young people are being trained. They are trained to be part of these projects. They are managing the project, Mr. Speaker. This is what we call development. In the Pomeroon, Mr. Speaker, the boat building project under this program, the BITS program, the boat building, young women are involved in building boat, Mr. Speaker. This is what you call development. I wish to remind, in 2021, I said it, the ordinary people, the Guyanese people, as I move around, I've heard all sorts of things, but I heard many people said, Ashley is back. That is the man for the job. And I'm saying it again. Ashley is back. That is the man for the job. And the opposition can't take it.
Meanwhile, Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation Minister Hugh Todd has touted the 2024 budget as a visionary plan for prosperity with sheer unadulterated potential to propel Guyana's economy to new heights. During his presentation on the first day of the budget debates in the National Assembly on Monday, Minister Todd stressed that the 1.146 trillion budget is necessary for the building out of a robust economic framework, a key focus of the government's development plan. Here's what he had to say.
We have an economy that is growing progressively. We have an economy that is benefiting from balanced development. We have an economy that is ready for 2030 and beyond. We are on the right course, and we're staying the course, Mr. Speaker. The numbers don't lie. We can go all the way back to 1992, and we can crunch the numbers, and we have showed steady progression. We have showed that we are capable of leading this nation, not only here in the region, but to provide global leadership. So this budget, Mr. Speaker, is not only about numbers. It's about progress. It's about our commitment to service. It is about delivering on the promises that we've made. And we have to do that by using resources. This is what we're about, Mr. Speaker. They are more attracted to the numbers. Because when we left office in 2015, we had over $800 million in the consolidated fund. You know what they did, Mr. Speaker? They spent it out. They took care of themselves and their families and their friends. The billions that we left in those agencies, they spent it all out. They never delivered on that good life. We have always delivered. We continue to deliver. We continue to meet and exceed the expectations of the people of this country. The overall GDP of this country is expected to grow by 4.3% in 2024, the fastest growing economy in the world. And I know that my colleagues on the other side, Mr. Speaker, will know that when we took office in 1992, we were one of the poorest economies in this region, second to Haiti. Now we are admired by the rest of the world for the leadership that we have provided between 1992 to 2015, and since we took office in 2020. We always remain focused on the diversification of this economy and not being susceptible to the resource curse. And that is why we have focused a lot of our attention on the non-oil economy, ensuring that we can diversify this economy using the support that we've provided to the other two pillars to ensure that we can have an economy that is fit for purpose, that is innovative, creative, and competitive.
Coming up, Ford victim in RUIMVELDT smash-up dies and pedal cyclist dies after being knocked down by truck. Do stay with us. More news ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to kick off the new year with a bang? Digicel has an offer that'll make your January extra special. Imagine winning up to $1 million in free groceries in Digicel's $6 million groceries extravaganza. Simply top up with $1,000 or more, and you can be one of 6 lucky winners to enjoy the ultimate shopping spree worth $6 million. What are you waiting for? Start topping up today. Digicel, the network for everyone, everywhere.
Premier insurance coverage for less. Stay safe.
Sun or rain? Up or down? No one knows what tomorrow will bring, but with Premier's commercial property insurance, you'll be ready. For all risks insurance, call 223-0840 or visit premierinsurance.gy. Fuel your success. Premier Insurance. Premier insurance coverage.
American-made Generac pressure washers from Sylvie's Variety Store give you the power you need to blast away dirt and grime. Providing the perfect cleaning power for any tough jobs around the house or business. From 2,500 to 4,000 PSI. So get the Generac pressure washer today with all the parts and accessories available from Sylvie's Variety Store.
Welcome back. You're watching the Evening News. The Education Ministry, under the Partnership for National Unity Alliance for Change coalition, had remained stagnant with little to no improvement. This is evident from the 78% secondary education rate, which did not budge during that time. This is according to Education Minister Priya Manik-Chand during the budget debate on Monday, in response to the opposition's claims that the 1.146 trillion national budget will not yield positive results for the sector. Rupasina Ryan tells us more.
Opposition Member of Parliament Coretta MacDonald told the National Assembly on Monday that there is nothing to transform the lives of teachers in Budget 2024, as she further criticized the building out of new secondary schools across the country undertaken by government. According to her, there was no need to do so under the former government.
The minister seems to believe that the building of schools or the construction of schools is the solution to all of the crises that we are facing. It therefore means, Mr. Speaker, that the issues that we face in education, they must be addressed. Attention is now turned for an opportunity to create another hustle. Sir, this never occurred under the coalition government. So there was no need to constantly construct secondary schools.
However, Education Minister Priya Manik-Chand contended that the APNU AFC entered office when there was a 78% access to secondary education. This number remained unmoved when they returned to the opposition benches.
When I left office in 2015, we needed 7,000. When I left office in 2015, we needed 7,000 seats for secondary children. That means, my young friends, the children your age don't have a school to go to. That's what we left. When I came back to office in 2020, we needed 7,000 seats because the APNU AFC failed, neglected, and refused to build a single secondary school in this country. Did not start or finish a single secondary school in this country, punishing children like you right here on the coast and in the hinterland regions. In the last 3 years, we have provided 4,575 children of this country, Amerindian, African, East Indian, Chinese, Portuguese, with seats in a secondary school. How could you not support that?
She added that the rollout of several new schools will provide hinterland communities with a secondary school facility where such is lacking.
The APNU AFC holds the view that there is no need to build any secondary school because they have enough. And I wonder what Don Hastings, honorable member, has to say about that, where children in Jawala and Kopinang and the Upper Mazruni do not have a school to go to. I wonder what Mr. Region 9, Henry, honorable member, has to say about that, when Awaranao and Mawaranao and Karasabai and Shia and those kids don't have a secondary school to go to. I wonder what the Region 1 MP, whoever it is over there, what the Region 1 MP has to say when the children of Prebana and Baramari River and Warramuri and Porsororo don't have a secondary school to go to. Is that your party's position?
This year, government will be finishing the Horsororo Secondary to accommodate 700 students, Northwest Secondary for 850 students, Quebana Secondary for 500 students, Jawala Secondary for 500 students, and the Karasabay Secondary for another 500 students. Christchurch Secondary, North RUIMVELDT Secondary, St. George's Secondary, and St. Mary's Secondary will also be built in Georgetown, along with the Christianburg Secondary in Linden. In total, $28.7 billion will be expended to move Guyana closer to universal secondary education. Rupasina Ryan, The Evening News.
The municipality of New Amsterdam has commissioned a compactor truck, and as we hear in this Andrew Carmichael report, it is the second such piece of equipment acquired by the town in less than a year, as it works aggressively to improve garbage collection in the city. Here are the details.
The New Amsterdam municipality recently commissioned a $3.7 million compactor truck. Mayor Wainwright McIntosh says the truck will greatly assist with the collection of solid waste in the township.
I'm extremely grateful to be a part of this initiative, and this is testimony that the Mayor and Town Council has the vested interests of every citizen in our hearts. And so we will continue to improve on our services here at the Mayor and Town Council of New Amsterdam.
Back in April last year, the municipality had commissioned a compactor truck, and McIntosh, who was then the acting mayor, said it would assist the municipality to address the growing solid waste problem. At the time, he had promised to continue to invest in the area. The town had been without a compactor truck for some time, and a dump truck was being used to remove solid waste from dwelling homes and the business sector prior to the arrival of the truck in April last year. The first truck had cost $2.5 million, and a third truck has already been purchased. Meanwhile, the mayor is calling on citizens to stop the indiscriminate dumping of garbage around the town.
On my way to this commissioning exercise, I saw coming out from a particular car, we had a whole bottles and plastic bags being thrown out of the window. Across Jubilee Drive, we would have conducted a cleanup exercise there, myself along with the deputy mayor and persons from the health department. Going back through Jubilee Drive, I'm disheartened looking at the response. It's all back at square one.
However, some residents say the municipality has not been removing solid waste from their residents in a timely manner, and some have admitted to utilizing sections of the road shoulder as a garbage heap.
It is time we will be moving in that direction, where persons will be prosecuted for dumping illegally. So my team from the municipality, the health department, they're going above and beyond their regular call of duty to ensure we have better control in terms of solid waste management. And all we're asking is for citizens to collaborate with us, participate in the cleanup process. New Amsterdam belongs to all of us.
For the Evening News, Andrew Carmichael.
Shaquan Allen, known as Izwi Boss, who had been on the run for over 2 years, was today charged and remanded for the 2021 murder of his girlfriend, 21-year-old Shawnette Dover. Lawanda McAllister has the details.
Shaquan Allen was on Tuesday brought before Linden magistrate Wanda Fortune virtually from Georgetown, where he was not required to plead to the indictable charge of murder. It is alleged that on April 3, 2021, he murdered his girlfriend, 21-year-old Shawnette Dover. As a result, he was remanded to prison until February 27th. During the hearing, the 24-year-old, representing himself without legal counsel, disclosed that he is the father of a 4-month-old child and provided his address as 5052 Block 22 Wismer, Linden. The prosecutor, Vernette Pindar Whittaker, informed the court about an ongoing investigation into the firearm allegedly used in the crime. A ballistic report was anticipated soon, with one person who purportedly purchased the weapon already in custody. Another suspect is being pursued. Prosecutor Whittaker highlighted Allen's previous legal issues during the court proceedings, including a dismissed narcotics charge and a discontinued case of causing grievous bodily harm. Allen, who had been evading authorities, was recently apprehended in Suriname and turned over to local law enforcement. Dover was shot to death at Canvas City, Wismer on April 3, 2021, but her body was not found until April 29, 2021, buried in a shallow grave in the accused's yard. A young sister of the victim who had witnessed the shooting eventually alerted police to what had transpired. With guidance from that sister, the victim's decomposed body was found in a shallow grave back Allen's Canvas City Linden home. Allen's father and Dover's 15-year-old sister had been arrested during the investigation. Police had indicated that the teen had led them to the shallow grave where the missing woman's remains were buried after confessing to being at the scene of the crime when the woman died on April 3, 2021. A post-mortem examination had had been conducted on Dover's body, and it revealed that she had died as a result of a single gunshot injury to the head. On May 4th, 2021, Dover's teen sister was charged with accessory after the fact of murder in relation to Dover's death. Meanwhile, Allen has since reportedly told detectives that he accidentally shot his girlfriend and that it was not premeditated. Lawanda McAllister, The Evening News.
The January 8th smash-up outside of the RUIMVELDT police station in Georgetown has claimed the life of a fourth victim. Here is Lawanda McAllister again with the details.
Dead is 58-year-old Lennox Clementson, who died on Sunday afternoon at the Georgetown Public Hospital after he had undergone surgery for injuries to his spine and brain, which he sustained in the January 8th accident outside of the RUIMVELDT police station. Only a few days ago, the third victim in the crash succumbed to his injuries, 29-year-old Prim Cicharan, called Romel, of Bellevue, West Bank-Demerara. Initially, the accident had claimed the lives of Sarah Wilson and her husband, Ron McKenzie. According to reports, the late Cicharan was driving a motor car at a high speed when it collided with a pile of sand, causing the vehicle to flip multiple times and cross onto the opposite carriageway of the RUIMVELDT public road. This collision resulted in a direct impact with the northbound bus driven by Ron McKenzie, leading to injuries for all occupants. Both drivers with broken limbs were trapped in their vehicles and had to be extricated by firefighters. Wilson, a 51-year-old resident of Samantha Point Grove, East Bank-Demerara, who was seated in the front of the minibus, was pronounced dead at the accident scene. Her husband, who also sustained injuries, succumbed to his injuries at the Georgetown Public Hospital during treatment. Cicharan admitted to the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation Intensive Care Unit with head injuries, fought for his life, but eventually succumbed. Reporting for the Evening News, Lawanda McAllister.
After being knocked down by a truck on Monday night along the Den-Amstel Public Road, West Coast Demerara, a pedal cyclist has died. Dead is 34-year-old Joel Castang, who had resided at Hibiscus Scheme in Blankenberg, West Coast Demerara. Reports are that at around 20 hours 19, motor lorry GTT 4953 was proceeding west along the southern side of the road when the pedal cyclist rode from south to north across the said road. The truck driver reportedly swerved right in an attempt to avoid a collision, but the front of the lorry collided with the pedal cyclist and he was dragged for some distance. Castang was taken to the Leonora Cottage Hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. Back in 2010, when he was 19, Castang had been jailed for 1 year after pleading guilty to snatching a phone from a woman at City Hall. Meanwhile, a notice of intended prosecution has been served on the truck driver, a 24-year-old man. And now for a look at the bridge reports.
The Demerara Harbour Bridge will be closed to vehicular traffic on Wednesday, January 24, 2024 at 3 hours 50 for a period of 1.5 hours. Meanwhile, the Berbice River Bridge is expected to be closed at 15 hours 25 on Wednesday, January 24, 2024, also for a period of 1.5 hours.
Head coach Shane Dietz committed to enhancing West Indies women's team, and Sandiford Rahim are Open Female Grand Prix champions. Details of these stories in the Sportcast, sponsored by MacCorp, coming up on the other side of the break.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to kick off the new year with a bang? Digicel has an offer that'll make your January extra special. Imagine winning up to $1 million in free groceries in Digicel's $6 million groceries extravaganza. Simply top up with $1,000 or more, and you can be one of 6 lucky winners to enjoy the ultimate shopping spree worth $6 million. What are you waiting for? Start topping up today. Digicel, the network for everyone, everywhere.
Looking to bring your dream home to reality? Or simply taking on a home improvement project? Then National Hardware Limited is where you should start. Let us put that touch to your home. Choose from over 1,000 Berger Paint original hues for any surface. We are known for our trusted brands such as Westinghouse, Philips, Sadco, Rubbermaid, Pyrex, Gibson Home, and so much more. National Hardware Limited, your do-it-best store. Located in downtown Georgetown and industrial site RUIMVELDT.
SuperBet, your best bet. Put your skills to the test and beat the dealer with virtual blackjack. Choose wisely without going over the goal of 21. The best possible hand wins. Visit www.superbet.gy to try your luck. Must be 18 years and older. Terms and conditions apply. Play responsibly.
Did you know that when you leave your property unoccupied and unmanaged, it deteriorates much faster than you can imagine? Then before you know it, much of your hard-earned investment is wasted. At Hand in Hand Trust Corporation, property management is our business. Whether you travel for long periods, live overseas, or have several properties that require managing, let us at Hand in Hand Trust Corporation take care of this for you. Your property is safe with us. Hand in Hand Trust Corporation Incorporated.